Hey, how's it going? Dave 2D here. So WWDC for 2017 just happened, and that's Apple's developers conference that they have every year. It's normally more software focused, and this year, there was a bunch of software that was announced, but the one thing that kind of stuck out for me was the adaptation of a file system for iPad. So iOS 11 will have a new app called Files. And I think for a lot of laptop users that have tried to switch over to iPads to replace their laptop, they hit that obstacle where they just can't manipulate files the way they want to, but this new Files app looks pretty cool. But I want to focus on the hardware that was announced, and this year there were quite a few. So first, the entire MacBook and iMac lineup has been updated to Kaby Lake chips. These Kaby Lake CPUs were basically chip drops into the 2016 MacBook Pro. So they were just, put in a new CPU into the existing architecture. That was pretty simple. The advantages of Kaby Lake, well, there's three big ones. The first that you'll notice is the faster clock speed. So these base clocks are about 15% faster than the previous generation. It's not a huge difference in terms of actual user experience. It'll benchmark faster, but the 2016 models will feel pretty similar. Another thing that you'll have with the Kaby Lake chips are the speed shift technology. So it's running a new version of speed shift, and when you launch an app or do anything that needs a short burst of speed, these CPUs use something called speed shift to fire up the turbo. The Kaby Lake processors turbo up quite a bit faster. The last thing is video encoding and decoding. So the Kaby Lake chips have hardware on the chip to decode and encode H.264 and VP9 codecs, and the end result is that you'll have just better battery life when you're streaming 4K content on your laptop. The integrated graphics on the MacBook Pros are also the new version, so instead of the Iris 540 and 550, the new ones have Iris Plus 640 and 650. In regards to a performance increase for 3D gaming or 3D applications, it's pretty insignificant. But in general, the Kaby Lake chips are nice. It's just more focused on energy efficiency more than anything else. So if you're running, I guess, the 2016 models, there's really no real reason to upgrade. But if you have one of the older ones, like the 2015 or 2014 models, there's just a bit more incentive to upgrade now. The iMacs also received a Kaby Lake upgrade, and they have more options for RAM, and the screens and video cards have also been updated. The base model has an integrated GPU. The higher res models have some new Radeon Pro GPUs. They're going to have similar TDP to the previous generation, so it's not going to be like a massive increase in performance, but it's nice to have new iMacs. I will be doing a full review of those new iMacs when I get them in. I want to see what those video cards are capable of. Now, the thing I was most interested in was the new iMac Pro. It launches in December and it's pretty expensive. It's gonna start at $5,000, loaded out with nice hardware, and it's packaged in a very compact iMac shaped case. But what makes it special is the processor. Like, this is the first iMac that's had more than 4 cores for the processor. And I mean, that's special because it's difficult to cool something with 6, 8, or 10 cores. And in this case, their top end model has 18 cores, which is insane. I find it difficult to believe that they can cool a properly utilized 18-core Xeon processor in that chassis. I'll be impressed if they do. But the other thing that kind of sucks about it is the price tag. They haven't revealed like the full top-end price, but you know that it's Apple and the price jumps up exponentially when you go up in core count. So 18 cores, I think it's going to top out at like 10 grand. It's crazy. The iPad Pro also had a hardware revamp, 10.5-inch screen with smaller bezels, a bunch of nice new features. The standout thing for me though is the 120Hz refresh rate. So 120Hz panels are really nice for gaming, animations look really smooth, stuff just looks very fluid on it. Movies and videos will still look the same, but any kind of high frame rate stuff will look really fluid, provided that the developer or the creator of that content has allowed for higher frame rates. So things like UI animations and possibly some games, those are just gonna look really smooth. Now, the faster refresh rate is gonna allow for a faster response time with the Apple Pencil. The old version had a response time, I think, of 38 milliseconds, so noticeable lag when you were using the Pencil. This has an advertised rate of 20 milliseconds, so quite a reduction in response time. As for whether or not 120Hz panel is useful otherwise, like aside from the artist application, I would say no. It's really difficult to justify the extra frames. It's just an aesthetic thing, but it is nice to look at. The Apple HomePod, I don't know how I feel about this thing. At $350, it's not crazy expensive, but the integration feels, I don't know, I'm not that impressed by it. I mean, there's cool tech in it. There's 7 tweeters. There's technology inside this thing to kind of measure and map the room that you're in for adjustment of the sound waves and stuff like that. It's cool. It's just that I feel like any kind of high-end Bluetooth speaker could have done something very similar to this with your phone. Now, the one thing I can say is that this is the first generation of it. If they add stuff to it, so if they add like an Apple TV built into this HomePod thing, so let's say HomePod 2, there's a built-in Apple TV, or there's built-in like mesh Wi-Fi into these units, and you can place them all over your house. That's kind of cool, that's cooler, but in its current iteration, I'm not that impressed by it. Anyways, that's the end of this video. I mean, there's a lot of hardware from this WWDC. I've covered like a very small amount of it, just the superficial stuff. I will be doing individual reviews for anything that I personally find super interesting, so be subscribed for those. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. I'll see you guys next time.